welcome back to the Dialogue, Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. I'm Micah.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Gage.
That was my joke.
Welcome back to a very relaxing podcast.
Is this ASMR?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to boost all of this.
Yeah, we're way too quiet.
Welcome back to the podcast.
I'm sorry. I hate ASMR. It's just like, hearing people chew food, but like to the extreme.
Mike, I'm gonna need you to shut up for a second.
I don't want to. Can we?
Welcome back.
I feel so bad for people with, like, headphones in.
Today we're talking about two very relaxing movies. Micah just tapped me in my butthole. And now I'm not the same person I was a few moments ago. Anyways, we're talking about two relaxing movies. Guns Akimbo and Hardcore Henry. My legs hurt.
Welcome to the Dialogue.
Welcome to the Dialogue. All right, well, I wanted to open today by talking about some news that you guys may be unfamiliar with. The first thing I want to talk about is Mulan being released on Disney Plus for $30.
$30?
It pisses me off. It genuinely does. Disney needs to stop.
That's too much money, dude.
It is. It is, in fact. Wow, this is such an interesting topic.
I think the air quality might be just slightly lower in this basement because every time we record in this basement, we just like lose brain cells.
I
I
wish
think
there's
that's
not
true.
a cat running
That's
around
true.
like a madman.
Mm-hmm.
It could be worse, you know?
Yeah,
So when are they releasing this?
I think September 4th.
September 4th.
Okay, I'm begging anybody listening or watching, don't spend your money on Mulan. Don't give in to Disney. In fact, I hear that they're literally just going to release it on Disney Plus for free, like a month later. So if you already have Disney Plus, just wait. Like, genuinely. Don't give Disney your money. They don't deserve it.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's kind of a tricky situation because obviously, like the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
You know,
But $30, people are already paying for Disney
Right.
Plus. Like,
right? I mean,
if you think about how much you're paying for Disney Plus on top of that, you're basically paying $40 to watch a movie.
but also the studio's being put in a very weird situation where, you know, because originally you would buy a ticket, and how much would a ticket be? Like
$13.
$13.
My concern is that it's a good deal for families, but for the individual who just wants to watch Mulan, the
Right
20
now.
the 21-year-old guy who's just like, I feel like watching Disney's remake of Mulan
Yeah.
by myself. $30 is ridiculous, you know?
Absolutely.
But if you're a family of four, that's a steal, honestly. So
Yeah.
it's kind of tough.
So
It's how is there a way to price it based on the people in the household? I don't think so.
yeah.
You know, so it's really
But
tough.
like other movies that have also been coming out around this time have been $20. And so of course Disney has to be all like, we're the macho alpha and everybody's gonna bow down to us. So let's make it 30 on a streaming. Because the other thing is things like Scoob, which is like $20. There, it wasn't like you had to pay for like the streaming subscription on top of it. You just
Right.
paid for the movie. So
which is kind of the problem. I
yeah,
think,
so
here.
in total, you're paying $40 to watch a movie, and that's only worth your while if you have at least like 4 people in your family.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you get Mulan forever after spending that $30 on Disney
It's
Plus?
going on Disney Plus for free after.
Yeah, but you would have it for the months leading up to it being on Disney Plus.
I assume so, yeah.
I don't know, not like that justifies it, but that what would be even worse if that $30 was a 24, 48 hour rent,
Yeah.
which would be.
I
like,
mean, I assume that you pretty much just get it for a month. That's about it, because afterwards, like I said, you can see it for free. I mean, besides the subscription fee, you see it for free. So.
maybe they're just assuming that the people who are most excited and willing to pay that $30
Are
are
families.
families
Yeah.
who are like
Yeah.
really excited and want to entertain their kids during quarantine, and they don't expect the individual to, you know, to pay that. They expect us to like wait the month to just watch it for free or whatever on Disney
Yeah.
Plus. So I don't know.
Or you know what you could do? If you have the same service, you could just watch the original Mulan.
Which was definitely better. Every single remake, the original has been better. I'm sorry, but
Although, actually, I don't know.
I think the new Mulan actually looks pretty good, to be
Yeah, I'm
honest.
kind of with you, too.
Oh, okay. You think so, too?
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll wait and see. Maybe it'll...
that's in comparison to all of the remakes so far.
Right.
I haven't been excited for any of them. And
Cinder-
Mulan is the first one, and I hadn't even seen Mulan until after I watched the trailer, and I was like, oh, that actually looks interesting. I guess I'll watch the original Mulan. I think the original Mulan is good, but it seems like
It's doing its own thing.
it also
little
seems
bit.
like it could benefit from the live action remake
maybe.
You know what
more so
also
than like
did
the
its
Lion
You know what
King,
also
yeah.
did its own thing? Dumbo.
Well, I've heard that's the best one.
A lot of people don't like it, but it's my favorite. So Cinderella I didn't like. The Jungle Book I didn't like. Beauty and the Beast I hate Beauty and the Beast. The Lion King was just like it was made by a machine.
I'm gonna take this call. We'll be back with our regularly scheduled program.
We were gonna go this entire podcast
Sorry.
without cutting.
And then just whipped cream all over my thighs and butt. Oh, okay. Welcome
All
back.
right.
Okay,
welcome
so back
back.
to where we were. The Lion King is literally just a machine. It's literally like they put a bunch of stats and numbers and like, this is exactly what this is. Like there was no thought put into it.
I just imagining your Letterboxd review for The Lion King. This is exactly what this is.
Hell yeah.
I didn't articulate that right, but it just doesn't seem made by humans. It just seems very like robotic.
It's Lion King, but with more pixels.
I agree.
And worse singing. Severely worse singing. Very bad singing.
I mean, it looks pretty.
But Beyonce.
I mean, it's kind of more like a show reel of like computer graphics and how far we've come, kind of.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, at a certain point, here's why it almost feels like a paradox. At a certain point, it's gonna look so good, and I would say The Lion King looks
Right.
good. But once it starts looking any better, why not just watch like Nat Geo? Like it's just
Right.
gonna
Yeah.
look like the real thing, but not be the real thing. So
Wow, that looks so good. It looks like real life. Okay, then watch real life.
Well, I think it's one of those instances where making it look more realistic actually took away from some of like the charm of the original, because like
There was no facial expression.
exactly, and
I'm sad. I'm sad.
yeah, when like his dad is again, I'm not like a huge
Spoilers for The Lion King if you
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
came out in like what 1995. I mean, like okay, cool. He looks like a lion. He expresses his face like a lion, but
See-
like you lose.
I'm really confused on like whether to call it like actually live action or animation because it was nominated for something for like best animated feature, which it shouldn't have to begin with.
It's
But
made to look like live action.
I know, but should it be nominated for something like live action?
I would say best animated movie to me.
Or I meant nominated for something like animation.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it deserves an animation award.
Here's the thing that I was saying before we were rudely interrupted by my
Your boog.
my boogie.
Get down tonight.
Like the fact that the movie is being made into live action kind of implies that like The Lion King's this great high piece of art, but we won't be able to take it as seriously if it's this 2D animated movie because
Yeah.
animation is
Yeah.
for kids and we gotta make it look realistic, which is kind of bullshit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't even like animated movies that much,
Yeah.
but even I feel the same way.
Right.
Like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you want to make it look realistic, make it look realistic. If you want to make it look animated, make it look animated.
Well, it's one of those things, too.
But the
I
thing
don't
is,
know.
you make it look realistic, but
Now
Also,
now it's more mature.
animals
edgy.
don't talk and sing. So, like,
Yeah.
what?
Why?
Yeah.
It was the second highest grossing movie of 2019, and that like infuriates
I
me.
mean, my thing is, if you're gonna...
I mean, I can see why, though.
I can't.
If the whole point is to make it look as realistic as possible, okay. But if there's not a compelling enough story and compelling enough characters or something new, which is what
Right.
New Lion King lacked,
Yeah.
then yeah, it's just some really nice
Looking.
It's a
computer
tech demo.
It's yeah, yeah, that's a great
that
way to
you might
put it.
as well just go watch Nat Geo and just be blown away by that instead because it's cooler because it's actually fucking real, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impressive, undoubtedly, but
And as long as they continue to make money, they're gonna continue to do it.
I mean, I don't believe that they made that movie thinking that people were gonna walk out of the theater going like, "Oh my god, that was like the best thing I've ever seen," because it's just the same movie as the other one.
I think they went in expecting to make money. I think that's
Yeah.
it. Otherwise, they do something original, which is actually a good segue into what I want to talk about next. But before I talk about what I want to talk about next, unless you guys have something else to say.
I don't know. I guess I would say that, like, because I know there were probably like thousands of people who worked on The Lion King. Like, it's super fucking impressive, and it probably took hours upon hours, days, months of work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like impressive, but the next step from here, if you're going to keep trying to do
that, but with something original.
that really realistic, you know, looking type animation or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we need new stuff, great stories,
Or at least have like a new take on it. But
If
of course, like, how do you improve?
I mean,
The
they
Lion
did it
King?
with Dumbo. Dumbo, I mean, it wasn't like the masterpiece that everybody thought The Lion King was, but
Right.
Dumbo was like reinvigorated.
I think they've just taken that whole people pushing back against the remake thing, where everybody's like, why does this new movie need remade and stuff? We've pushed it so far in the other direction that instead of remaking movies, like, as in, because I feel like the word remake to me means, automatically when I think of it, oh, you're gonna remake it but do something different.
A new
Reimagining.
vision.
Yeah.
But now it's, oh, people don't want us to do that, so let's just make the same movie,
right.
and nobody will be, because if you try to please both sides, you please nobody, so it's one of those
But
situations.
here's the thing:
Yeah,
millions of audience members across the world ate it up. So like,
exactly.
Which is disappointing.
But I mean, I'd even be curious, obviously.
I mean, I went and saw it in the theaters with my family.
I did
so,
too.
Like,
I did too.
begrudgingly, but like
But
I saw
I
it.
saw it for free. Did you see it for free?
I did see it for
yeah,
free.
so I don't feel bad.
I don't feel bad. I didn't give Disney any money.
Yeah.
Saw it on vacation.
Okay. I mean, yeah, you are right. Like, so many people, it made a lot of money, but it's like, I can't help but wonder, you know, are all those people, the mainstream audiences, how impressed were they actually? And, like, how are they still thinking about that movie past its cool visuals, you know? Like, did it leave the impact of the original Lion King left?
I haven't heard
doubt it.
anyone talk about it
Yeah.
since it first came out.
And you could argue that wasn't their intent, so I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just kind of frustrating.
I
'Cause
mean-
we all want the same thing. We want new stuff.
Yeah, it's incredibly
So-
impressive technology. Just do it in something that
Original.
hasn't been done before.
Yeah. Jon Favreau should make an original
Absolutely.
type thing. Like
I mean,
that.
a lot of people liked the Jungle Book, and that seemed to be very different from the original.
Bill Murray.
because it wasn't like
Oh.
shot for shot, right?
No, I think
Okay.
it was its own thing. I
Which,
never
fair
saw
enough.
it.
Fair enough.
But The Lion King was like quite literally just
Shot
like
for shot.
shot for shot remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I appreciate things like Dumbo, where yes, it's technically a remake, but it's just like it's almost not related to the other one because it's so different.
Okay, what was your segue?
So before I get into the segue, I just want to say I need to correct myself from the last podcast because I said that the Ron Burgundy, Will Ferrell podcast had one season. It in fact has 3 seasons and another one coming up. I apologize for that mistake. And so my segue, speaking of reboots and stuff, so 2 things. They're rebooting, Seth Rogen specifically is rebooting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And they're rebooting Trains, Planes, and Automobiles with Kevin Hart and Will Smith. And then the last thing, which is kind of on top, is there's a Neutron with Jared Leto. There's a Neutron.
Okay, there's
Yeah.
a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, so we can start with Seth Rogen's Teenage Mutant Ninja
Okay,
Turtles.
I will say, my first reaction was like, but then I was like, sure, what the hell? Because you know what? I don't know if you've noticed,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like there's a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles adaptation like every 3 years.
Yeah. It's like Spider-Man.
It's maybe worse because like I mean, how many can you think? There's the original movies that came out in the 80s. There's the
Cartoon series.
animated series. There's the TMNT movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then the new 2014
The
one
Michael
that was
Bay ones.
with
There's
Megan.
2 of them, right?
Megan Fox. Yep.
Yeah.
But Seth Rogen said he specifically wanted to focus on the teenage element of
Okay.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So you know what that means for Seth Rogen? The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are gonna smoke weed.
yeah, of
They're gonna come on, it's Seth Rogen, and they want to focus on the. Teenage
Well,
element.
okay. I mean, I want to give Seth Rogen the benefit of the doubt a little bit because I probably would. Okay, I probably would have said that like 10 years ago. I'm not gonna lie.
Said what?
That oh god, it's just gonna be like dick jokes and like and like weed. You know?
Yeah.
But like, I mean, The Boys. He's like one of the
Good Boy. Oh, The Boys.
The Boys.
The show The Boys. I didn't know he produced it.
He's one of the. I think he's one of the executive producers.
Okay,
Maybe
I didn't know
writer.
he did
Like
that.
he's, and then that show Preacher that's really successful. Like he's shown recently that he's actually starting to
Was
show
he
like a little
involved
bit of
in
talent.
Good Boys?
Yeah, that was like
Yeah.
a produced.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
'cause
what I thought you were
I
talking
did.
about.
I actually really thought Good Boys was pretty damn funny. So
It was when I saw it was basically like super bad. It was almost exactly like
what?
Superbad.
Good Boys?
Yeah.
It is. It's like young Superbad.
But I'm almost like they took the plot structure and we're like,
Yeah.
all right, let's just make Superbad with little kids.
What do you
But
think?
the point that I'm making is that I think that he is starting to actually like show like
An American
a
Pickle.
little bit of talent. Yeah, exactly.
An American Pickle, which is like
I'm actually. Have you seen the trailer for the American? I'm actually excited
Yeah,
to see it.
if I could watch it, I would, but it's on like Apple TV or whatever.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I think.
we could go to Jesse's.
Good.
Don't want to exploit you, Jesse. So
I might
Pickle it up.
I might be able to.
pickle it up.
Might be able to pickle it up for you.
Okay.
Ooh.
But anyway,
I'm down.
yeah, I don't know. I get this sense like lately that he's starting to kind of get tired of the same old shtick, and he's actually showing a little bit of
look
talent.
at him and Steve Jobs. Not to bring that all up again, but I
Right.
mean, he's great in that.
But I mean, like as a writer,
He's a writer, too, yeah.
I mean, look, we can sit here. Obviously, Sausage Party
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Sausage Party.
Yeah.
But if you actually saw that movie, I could argue it's one of his best written like comedies, even though it's like stupid and class and very low brow.
Yeah.
But like I think he's starting to write more serious stuff and executive produce and be involved in a lot more
So you're
like
saying he has an opportunity to actually do something with this property?
I think he has
the potential.
more potential than
Okay.
he did like maybe
I just wish it wasn't Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because it's been done to death. But I guess.
But
Seth
maybe he
Rogen-
has a new take on it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know. I think he's an older person now. He's not.
Well, yeah, and we've seen.
Maybe he has a little bit more to say.
We've seen time and time again, like people who tend to do comedy start to do dramas, whether it's writing or acting or directing or whatever. So I think it can be done.
Right.
Yeah.
Not to say like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is like a drama, but like
Yeah.
I think he's earned the right to start being taken seriously a little bit more.
And I think he'll do a great mix of like drama and comedy, which is
Yeah.
exactly what you need for Teenage Mutant
Yes.
Ninja Turtles.
I mean, to be honest, it's hard for me because all of those movies you just like mentioned, like I don't really
have an interest in.
I mean, I did not grow up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then like Tron, same, and what were the other ones?
It's just trains, planes, and automobiles.
I've never seen that.
I haven't either.
I haven't either.
So like
but
I don't. It's hard for me to be like, what the fuck, you know, if I
But-
don't.
Train, planes, and automobiles originally had Steve Martin and John Candy,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
believe, and apparently it's like a comedy classic. And I don't know.
I have it on Blu-ray. I just have never seen it because I guess it's a Thanksgiving movie, and
Interesting.
I always forget to watch it on Thanksgiving.
But what do you think about Will Smith and Kevin Hart being
Here, you know what? I have like a weird feeling in my nuts that like I have a feeling this is gonna be one of those movies. It's gonna come out. It's gonna be advertised as Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and then you're gonna watch it, and then you're gonna be like, "This barely has anything to do with the original." They just it'll be like the Jumanji, the Next Level, or the Welcome to
see
the
it.
Jungle.
Hey,
thing.
but they brought up Robin Williams.
But I mean, that's
in the second movie.
would you say that as far as remaking stuff goes, that's the best way to do it? Because I think that like to me personally, I know you don't really like those movies, but like the new Jumanji movies are like a better example.
I actually
Right.
think Welcome to the Jungle is the best Jumanji movie. So so it's not like I'm like, oh, you can't remake
Okay.
that. It's
I mean,
just-
I can't compare it to the original movie, but like, I definitely the new Jumanji movies definitely have their own thing going. But it's like when I watched it, it feels like they kind of banked on the name a little bit.
I think that's what you're saying is like
Yeah.
slapping the name on something to
yeah,
like just get
that's a good point.
Which I don't know if Jumanji technically
because I feel
did,
like
but
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles
maybe a little bit.
is such a like, from what I understand. Again, I haven't seen the movie, but judging from the marketing and everything, it seems like one of those movies that the premise is such a like loose that like
Yeah.
how do you
You just go on a plane, a train, and an automobile.
remake it
Yeah.
shot for shot basically, or you do something totally different kind of.
Yeah.
don't
I feel
know.
like you
Yeah.
can do a good. There have been movies where you can do like a good like mix. Like I guess Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is kind of an interesting thing because that's a totally different style, different vibe, but like the same events occur.
yeah
So like I don't know. I think that's an example where you can kind of do both.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of people who like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Again, I prefer the original, obviously, but I will agree that
They're both kind of even.
The
for
new
me.
one definitely takes a different, like, it decides to focus on.
It goes a little darker in a weird way.
Well, I don't know if you remember, it decides to focus on. Ironically enough, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory focuses more on Willy Wonka, and then Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory focuses more on Charlie.
I know, that's interesting.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
You should see the original.
you
Yeah.
should. I think you'd like Gene Wilder, especially.
Yeah.
Gene Wilder's great. But also the new Tron with Jared Leto attached to it. I thought the last Tron Legacy, looked gorgeous and had an amazing soundtrack. The story needed a lot of work. So if they basically do the exact same thing, but with a really solid story, it can do really well, I think.
I mean, I'd go see it. I'd go see another
Absolutely.
Tron movie if it was.
I've liked all the Tron. I mean, there's only been 2, but I've liked them
I mean, the
both.
first one is like
Dated.
way too dated for me to sit through.
I liked it.
But
It's obviously very dated.
the
but
second one obviously looks really cool.
I just like what they were trying to do for that time period, and I like really appreciated like they had basically nothing to work with technology, and they're like, whatever, we're gonna do it anyway. And I was like, damn.
Are you talking about the
The original.
original?
Yeah, because
Okay.
nothing like that had ever been done before, and I can respect that. As a man of true grit.
Well, what do you say to that? I mean, it's just. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do have one little other smaller topic,
Do it.
but it's just they're doing a Suicide Squad video game.
Oh.
I mean, we've talked about video games before.
Didn't they do that or try that or something?
I don't think they did.
Or did I? Or was that a fever dream? That I
feel
came
like
up
whatever Marvel does, DC is like, right on your tail.
Probably.
So they saw like the Avengers and the Spider-Man game. They're like, here's a Suicide. I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably play it. So
with? Yeah, I mean, it's probably a tie-in to the James Gunn movie, actually.
it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is.
Have we talked about like movies to video games yet, or did we?
Movies to video games.
'Cause I know we
Oh,
talked
we haven't had a movie that was made into a video game in a long time. I feel like.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was just kind of interested in.
Well, studios don't really do that anymore.
I know. So it's really interesting.
Like, make that
Yeah.
part of the marketing where it's like the movie video game.
One of the first examples I can think of is Peter Jackson's King Kong.
I have like almost the entire Harry Potter series.
the Spider-Man games.
Oh
Based
yeah.
off the Tobey Maguire movies
Yeah.
that I grew up playing
Those are
those.
Speaking of Suicide Squad, you know what movie reminded me of Suicide Squad? Guns Akimbo.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say The Graduate.
Oh, we're not talking about The Graduate?
With Dustin Hoffman.
I guess I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, Guns Akimbo, 2019 movie.
2020.
No, it plays into your whole like it's technically a 2019 movie, but to me it's a 2020 movie because
Let's see.
it was released in the U.S. in 2020. Letterboxd says 2019.
Okay, 2019 movie Guns Akimbo.
So yeah, I just before we get into it, I have like a similar thing with Under the Silver Lake because it technically.
It did come out in 2019.
Well, it says everywhere that it's a 2018 movie, but the only people
I
who
mean-
saw it in 2018 were the people who saw it at Cannes.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too.
Most
like,
people saw it in 2019.
I go by whatever. I mean, I live in America. If I lived in fucking Mexico, it would be the same thing. It doesn't. I'm not like a fucking like. Oh, I'm an American, so it only go. I'm a patriot. No, it's just because it like makes the most sense to me and where I live. I just go by the release date. When am I able to see it in the United States?
Well,
it was released in I think February of 2020.
because that it was technically everywhere they considered it a 2018 movie. Even though most people saw it in 2019, it didn't make it on either person's like top 10 lists.
Yeah.
So like it just
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's
the
so
thing
frustrating.
is
Yeah.
if you have two different people from let's say, because we're close to Canada, let's say you're talking with someone in Canada and you're like, oh, that movie
I
that
know,
came
but
out
it's
it's just for me
Oh,
it
okay,
makes
you're
it
explaining
makes
for
it easier universally
Yeah.
if you just go with the initial like first time
Yeah.
you saw it, because then there are movies where like it's never released here and like you go with your whole like
Yeah.
if it was released here, it's just to
mean-
make it universally like kind of generic and just easy for like
I just-
everyone to talk about it once.
I basically just go off of my own personal Because, like, obviously if I talk to somebody, I'm not going to, like, let the... It doesn't need to be, like, so political or whatever. It's just, like, for me, it's just easier so I can be like, oh, yeah, what 2020 movies do I really like? Oh, well, Guns Akimbo came out in 2020 in the U.S. I mean, if I had traveled to Canada to watch it in 2019, then okay, but it's like, I'm not going to do that, so...
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just easier because, especially right now when there's so little movies coming out, to me it feels like a 2020 movie because I didn't even know about it. I didn't even know... I mean, it wasn't available to watch in the United States until 2020.
Now that I know it's a 2019 movie, I can't add it to my top 10 of 2020.
I already did.
Yeah. So, based on my logic and rules, I would say Under the Silver Lake came out in 2018 because that's the initial release date, and that's where, like...
I mean, it doesn't really matter that much, though.
I know, but it's just an interesting take on, like...
What, Kyle?
We're doing an episode on Under the Silver Lake.
Oh, okay.
I've already decided.
Okay.
I don't know when, but...
It's so interesting that I don't like that movie because it has codes.
Anyway, Guns Akimbo.
Yeah, so basically, to sorry to interrupt, but like just to preface, we've been wanting to watch some more 2020 movies, newer movies, because there's so few of them, and that's the one that's been kind of on our radar for a while. We're going to watch another one, but I think we're going to save it for next week. So Guns Akimbo is the one we're talking about right now. It's on Prime.
Yeah, it's directed by Jason Lee Howden.
And it has Harry Potter,
And it's got Mr. Potter himself.
Daniel Radcliffe,
Daniel Rad Mountain. Daniel
Cool Hill.
Cool Hill.
Daniel Cool Hill.
So Daniel Cool Hill plays a... Guns Akimbo is basically, if you haven't heard or seen anything about it, it stars Daniel Radcliffe, like we've said a million times before. And he plays like a I guess he works at like a tech company or something.
They make an app. They make like one of those mindless phone app games.
And he's like the guy who like goes on social media and like reports.
Yeah, they don't really touch on that.
They don't explain it very well.
The beginning of this movie.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm explaining what it's about. Hold on.
Yeah, there's like a couple shots where it's just showing that he's...
Ooh, that tickles.
He's blocking comments and stuff on Twitter or whatever. Or whatever fake social media they're using.
Right, he's the guy who's like, oh, that's sensitive material, I'm going to report that.
I wish they went into that more, but okay.
I know, but we'll get into that.
That would have been a good arc.
So the main premise is he's at home and there's this whole thing that they set up. They live in this world where there's this thing called schism, and it's basically like two people, they're both told to like hunt each other down and fight each other to the death, and it's live streamed, and like a lot of people are
forced to.
It's kind of like Nerve in a weird way.
I've definitely seen it compared to Nerve in a lot of like online reviews and stuff. So
it's like a game of sorts, and it's just like everybody's watching to be entertained.
Right. And it's definitely like this, like, whoa,
and
like
then
comment on social media.
And then he wakes up with guns screwed into his hands.
He pisses somebody off on the internet, and then they like come to his house and they beat the shit out of him, and then they shoot a I can't speak. Why am I on a podcast if I can't use words and with sentences? And
got this. I believe in you.
Say it with me.
Josh
Tranquilizer.
Okay, there we go.
Into his neck. He wakes up and he's got two guns. Like
Kimbo? Sorry.
Kimbo? two dudes.
Cocks in his hands.
Two dicks.
Wait, did he grow up with the guns?
They never say.
He wasn't.
Damn it.
He didn't grow up around weapons.
Daniel Radcliffe has two guns bolted to his hands, and he's
and then basically all of a sudden he's a part of this game.
Yeah,
because he pissed the leader of it off by a comment.
And he can't.
That they'd never really touch on again.
Yeah, and he can't really take off the guns because both his hands are screwed in or whatever.
Yeah, so now he's forced to defend himself as Samara Weaving's character. Nix, I believe, is her name.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remembered that. Basically, is just chasing him around the city.
Really,
for an hour and a half.
And it's just
it's kind of like Terminator 2. There's a lot of like similarities.
It's a lot like Crank. It's just very like
Crank, Nerve, Terminator,
Suicide Squad,
Hardcore Henry, Suicide Squad.
It's very turn your brain off. Just like
the editing and the camera motions are if you have motion sickness, you probably shouldn't watch this movie, but it's like a lot of fun.
I would agree with you.
Also, a little side tidbit.
we did a horrible job explaining this.
Oh,
It took
we did.
so
We
long to
got
get
it.
to it.
We
All right.
literally could have just been
Before-
like, a guy wakes up with guns screwed to his hands and has to kill someone.
Should we just preface that we're gonna probably? Do you guys want to do spoiler talk, or should we like just try to avoid spoilers?
I
or
want
do you
to
wanna
avoid spoilers for like a little bit.
Okay, that sounds good.
I just want to say a weird tidbit is we went to Walmart and we saw the cover of Guns Akimbo and like the whole shtick. And,
No, I think we were at Target.
or the Target. Was I with you?
Oh, you were with me.
I was with you.
You were with me.
And like the
I
poster.
was there, too.
Yeah, we were all there. And the
I don't
poster
remember.
and everything shows him having his guns. For some reason, the slipcover is just him sticking his very fake edited hands up in the air.
Like they weren't allowed to show guns on the
Yeah.
cover for a movie called Guns Akimbo.
So strange.
it was very
like a little kid is gonna see that and be like, "Oh,
Maybe it was the blood, the fact that it was bolted into his
Did you guys
hands.
see that new re-release of Edward Scissorhands? He just has bananas on the Blu-ray case.
I thought you were serious for a second."
Edward Gunhands.
Have you seen that new like Freddy Krueger reboot on the DVD? He just has like dildos coming out of his.
I mean, what else?
Have you
right?
seen the new
Right.
X-Men? He just has cucumbers.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
funny.
all right. I think 3 examples is enough.
That was a good. We stopped it at the
But
right time.
yeah, his hands are very edited and fake, and
Yeah.
I think honestly it might not be the guns, but the fact that there's like blood and like screws and bolts.
But they look like clean. They're totally not his hands. It's which makes
Yeah.
it hilarious. He's just like. He has like perfectly washed hands, and then he looks dirty as hell, like he does in
Yeah.
the rest
So
of the movie.
weird. I wanna
So
know.
don't believe the Guns Akimbo
Can I
slipcover.
ask you guys a question? We don't
Or
need to
Blu-ray
start
cover.
a whole conversation off of it because I don't.
I
I've been-
didn't grow up with guns.
Okay, I've been explained this before, but I forgot completely. There was some controversy about the director. Did you guys hear anything about
no,
that?
I know nothing
Then
about
if
the director.
none of us know anything about it, then we won't talk about it. But I
Okay.
remember hearing something along the lines of him like pissing some people off on social media. Caleb told me a little bit
I'll look
about
it up for next episode.
But I mean, like, I'm honestly glad that I don't know anything because I just wanted to watch the movie for what it was. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So you want to just kind of jump into our general thoughts, or
the movie started off like pretty rocky. It was pretty rough to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, I think
We were like, "Oh, this is gonna be a shitty movie."
would you compare it at all to our? Because we talked about this in the last episode when we saw The Visit.
Mm-hmm.
Would you compare it to that experience at all? How we kind of felt like. Maybe not. I mean, because I think with The Visit we were laughing. We thought we were laughing at it. We realized we were
Right.
laughing with it. But with Guns Akimbo, I do think
no, I definitely think it starts out pretty bad.
It's the first 20 minutes are inherently rocky, I think.
Yeah.
Or like objectively rocky. It's not the best.
I think we can mostly talk about this movie without spoiling it. I think we should try.
Okay, let's do it. So no spoilers unless we say otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so like the the first 20 minutes are just like the special effects, I think,
Oh,
were the first
gosh.
thing in the beginning that
Yeah.
made us go like, uh-oh. Like, I know it's obviously, it doesn't seem like it's a very big budget movie. It's probably on the
Totally.
smaller side.
Totally.
But, like, even then, it's like, I mean, I will say, with action movies, like, majority of the time, CGI blood just looks like garbage.
Yeah.
And,
I
like,
agree.
Like ketchup or paint or.
Well, it looks just.
It doesn't look like it's there.
liquid, like computer generated liquid. Like,
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
on, it's not. It's not gonna look the best.
Yeah.
Right.
I think also we kind of have this theory that the narration through the whole movie was added in like after the fact. There were, even though it totally could have gone without any narration whatsoever. I think if you just like turn off the volume for those specific scenes, you would still know what was going on.
I think it was weird because, like, certain scenes it benefited from the narration, and certain scenes it was like, why was that necessary? It was kind of back and forth for me. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, that's another thing, too, is, like, I feel like there's not a whole lot of narration towards the second half, but the first half has quite a bit. It feels
Yeah.
like the first half of the movie is where a lot of the issues with us
Yeah.
lie. Because, like, first of all, like, some of the editing was, like,
Crazy.
really bad. And I watched some. I know you specifically during the scene when he's at his job and they're talking to each other. You were like, you were like, I can't tell if this is really bad dubbing
Okay.
or there's something wrong with my TV.
Okay.
I went on YouTube and I looked up the scene. It's the fucking movie.
Holy
Wow.
shit.
The dubbing in the first part of the movie is atrocious.
And we like, I was so convinced that I restarted like everything to make
Right.
sure. Wow.
It seems like the first like
That's
20
hilarious.
minutes.
There were even like sounds that were playing, like in the movie. Like if you,
It was almost as if somebody right before they exported it like dragged the timeline over like a couple frames or
Right.
something on accident, and then there was just like a delay,
Yeah.
a constant delay, and then all of a sudden it would be fine, and then like it's so strange.
It almost makes me feel like they did the first 20 minutes last and just kind of rushed it. They're like, we're running out of time.
or they reshot a bunch of stuff and had to change it really.
That's
quickly.
kind of it. Kind of felt like before like they did a bunch of reshoots and they reshot like a bunch of the stuff at the beginning, and at that
Yeah.
point they had run out of money. But like that's why the first opening sequence, there's some like weird action scene with Samara Weaving, I think, like a car chase, and that's the main sequence that I was like the very opening of the movie.
Right, that sets up the
immediately,
whole schism thing.
Yeah, immediately I was like, oh god, here we go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like the rest of the movie isn't really like that. I mean,
It
it's not the best, but it's like it improves as it goes
it
along.
progressively gets better.
Yeah,
It's gradual,
Not
but it
only
gets-
the story, not only the acting, but even like the effects. It seems
Yeah.
like you know,
Yeah.
it's so strange.
It was crazy.
So
This movie was really funny. I thought it, like, I was laughing a lot.
it had its moments.
It had its moments. I don't think they all landed, but I think
No, it's for me. I think I was the first one who compared it to Suicide Squad. Am I wrong?
Yeah,
Because
the color scheme especially.
it did remind, because I don't like Suicide Squad very much. It reminded me of like going to see Suicide Squad, but like actually enjoying myself, kind of like
Right.
that's the experience it felt. I still have I have very similar issues with both movies, humor wise, tone wise, because it's so like, what are you trying to do here? It's such a mixed bag.
Yeah.
And they're trying a lot of different things and throwing a lot at the wall, and a lot of it's not sticking. But I think just more worked for me in this one, maybe because it just felt a little bit more harmless, and they weren't trying to do as much in such a short period
Yeah.
of time.
Well, you definitely get the idea that you're not supposed to take this like
No,
seriously in
not
the
at all.
slightest.
Yeah, it's a very goofy, straightforward.
Like even when it's stupid, you're just like whatever.
It's just Hot Topic, the movie.
I just want to watch Daniel Radcliffe shoot a bunch of people in the face
Yeah.
and like try to put on his pants and pee without blowing his dick off.
Yeah, we saw.
I've been
penis.
talking about dicks a lot this episode.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just like try to
That's
work on
hot.
that.
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
really. He's like trying. Like he has guns in his hands, and he can't open the door, and he can't drive as
When
well.
the movie decides to
Super
focus
interesting.
on that, I think the movie starts to like be the best it is. But I think definitely the social media aspect in the beginning was where I was starting to like.
Yeah, sorry, one last comparison to Suicide Squad. You mentioned the Hot Topic thing. I've always felt that way. Like, Suicide Squad is such a Hot Topic movie, and I think Guns Akimbo is as well. But it's like, it doesn't go so far in that direction. Like, it's not just Suicide Squad. It's also trying to do, I mean, in my opinion, it's kind of trying to be Hardcore Henry a little bit. It's
trying to be
Crank a little bit. So,
Yeah.
like, because of those other movies that it's also trying to be, it's got some like a bunch of different tones, and so it kind of works.
I read that the director was specifically trying to, like, aesthetically speaking, was trying to take inspiration from like 80s action movies, like Die Hard and stuff.
Okay, I can kind of see
Yeah,
it.
I can kind of see it, and obviously I think there's definitely like even throughout the movie, there's like a sort of a video game comparison
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
There's even like a very like obvious like Doom 2016 like
Yeah.
product
Plug.
It's
integration
not.
throughout of it.
I definitely want to start talking about like what I enjoyed going forward. But
Right.
one more thing that I guess like about the tone and what it's trying to say, it just feels like it didn't really know what it was trying to do. It was trying to go into the social media, and then all of a sudden
Right.
it was going into the video game stuff, and it just didn't really pick one, and it didn't.
Yeah.
And it almost is like, okay, it's trying to do something here, and then it doesn't.
Which is weird because like what made me interested in the movie was literally just the simple premise of Daniel
Yes.
Radcliffe plays a guy who has guns
Right.
strapped to his hand, and when it decides to focus on that, or when it decides to be a cat and mouse between him and
Yeah.
what's her face, I can't remember the actress's name.
Samara Weaving.
Samara Weaving, who we really like, by the way.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when the movie is the strongest.
Yeah, I
that's
agree.
when I enjoyed myself the most.
Without that extra layer of like
Yeah.
that social
I
media.
feel like
stuff.
a lot of movies nowadays are trying really hard to like like pound that message into our skulls, and it's just like kind of become monotonous
What
at this
message?
point, where it's like you guys need to look up and look away from your
Right.
phones and social media, and I just see it so often. I'm like, okay, yeah, we get it, but like we get it a lot.
I mean, I think this movie was sort of like that was a part of it, but it was more of like a comment on our desensitization of like violence and stuff.
Kinda. See, it's trying to do that too.
Right.
It's
But it's like it can't pick a thing,
That's an interesting.
especially in the beginning.
Yeah, I'm losing it. Hold on. Just like about. Help me.
they did it with
It's got all these ideas it wants to juggle.
Yeah.
But like it can't really fully commit in either direction. Is that kind of what you're trying to say?
What was the thing? What did you say was the message? Can you repeat that for me one more time?
that they were trying to be like, look up from your phones,
Yes.
get off social media, like
Yes, and
experience the world.
What I think is weird to me about that is it's true and we know these things.
Yeah.
But the movie thinks it's saying these things for the first time.
Like we've never heard
and I
it.
think that's why it feels so out of touch.
Yeah.
Because that's I think the problem with a lot of movies that touch on social media stuff is because yes, we know these things. These are pretty general ideas. I wish more people put these ideas into effect and actually thought about them.
But it's
But
definitely
it's
not
like-
the first time somebody said it.
And because of that, it almost feels the best
Right.
way I can put it like an old person is making a
Like
movie
you're-
about social
yeah,
media
right.
because they're not really new ideas. And I mean, I'm sure there are people who watch the movie and they're like, "Oh yeah, I've never really thought about that." If you haven't seen a lot of movies, okay, fair enough, but
But I mean, it's like overtly in your face.
yeah, I mean, Nerve does that. We just talked about Funny Games, kind of about that desensitization thing.
If you want to watch a movie that I think does it pretty well, the reason it's doing it well because it's self-aware and it realizes how stupid it is with like people like running into each other and like Jexy. Jexy is like kind of a mindless, just like dumb fun kind of movie, but it also has that message, but it's making fun of itself.
Well,
for
the
that
ironic
message.
thing is it's doing that whole like, I don't know. It definitely has like a weird glorification of it on top of it, even though it's like making fun of it at the same time.
Do you guys have what movie? And I'm sure you're gonna say The Social Network. Maybe not, because that's more about like the making of Facebook. But like, what movies do you guys think talk about social media the best? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Emoji Movie never makes you want to touch your phone ever
Well,
again.
kind of. I mean, what I mean though about like, I mean, that's kind of was in my mind as well. Like, obviously on the other side of the spectrum, but it seems like we're getting a lot of movies about social media that feel very, very out of touch, and it's almost like you never buy that the person making the movie understands it.
No, it
better than you
feels
do.
like your grandpa tapping you on the shoulder, being like, "Hey."
I feel like it's also going to be very interesting 20 to 30 years from now, because if you look at movies 20 to 30 years ago, that was like, what, the 90s, 80s, whatever, you didn't see a whole lot of people indulging in technology. It was kind of people living out the story and the life. And now when you look at this specific group of movies, every scene, or not every scene, but a lot of scenes, people are going to be looking at their phones and like they're consumed.
As I looked at my phone.
I know, and people are
My phone
consumed by
vibrated
it.
at the same
So
time.
people are going to look back 20 to 30 years from now, and like obviously technology becomes out of date.
So you think that the movies I'm talking about are going to be made later on, you think?
No, I think that people are going to look back and be like, wow, that's really outdated. Like, why? We're doing it too much in movies to the point that it's going to like I don't know how I'm trying to say this, but it'll be overbearing how often you see like, look, we have phones in movies.
Okay.
The weird thing is, like, I feel like this movie understands, like, gamer Xbox culture better than it understands,
agree.
like, the Twitter, Instagram culture, and it's kind of grouping them in the same thing.
Totally agree.
A little bit. Like, whenever there was jokes about, like, anything related to... I was like, okay, I kind of get the sense that this person isn't just, like, pretending to, like, you know... I mean, again,
I totally
anytime
agree.
somebody says, like, feed the trolls and there's something in a movie, I want to, like, cringe into oblivion. But other than that, I still get the sense that, like, this person understands it a little bit. This guy's played Xbox Live, played Call of Duty Xbox Live, and heard, like, people like, you're fat, you're gay, blah.
Yeah.
I feel like it understood that, but it was trying to group that into the social media aspect, and maybe
Yes, and I think that's where the mistake was, is just bringing in the social media aspect. And I and I can see why, because it's like, what else would you do?
Right.
But I think maybe the solution to that problem would have been to lean into it more and explore it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because right now it feels.
But then it would become an entirely different movie.
Yeah.
It's like it's got 3 movies that it wants to combine, and they don't necessarily gel in the way that
I
they
wish
wanted it to.
it had been more like underground, like secretive. Like, yes, this whole like people live streaming and watching this was happening, but it wasn't like everybody was in on
What
it.
if it was instead of general people, like everybody, and making a comment about how people consume and like watch social media stuff?
Right.
What if it was like a dark web thing? Where
Well,
it's, like,
that's the
only-
thing, though, that I'm confused about the movie, is because, like, at first it kind of portrays it like this is what everybody's doing now, but, when he gets into, like, his girlfriend or whatever, we'll talk about that.
When he gets into his girlfriend.
When he gets into his girlfriend.
Ex-girlfriend.
When he jumps into her butthole and lands in another universe at the end of the movie.
Yeah, spoilers.
Onto planet Akimbo. That's where you get the...
Yeah.
the names.
Anyway, what the hell was I talking about?
I don't know.
But, like, she acts like no one's... Again, like, he interacts with people, and it's like they don't know. They're like, something's wrong with you? And it's like, how do you not know about this thing that, like, shouldn't everybody know about this?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Some people know about it, some
That's
people
why
don't.
if it
But
was
it's-
underground, it'd be more interesting, because I thought it was like really cliche when it was like, who do you think owns the police? I was like, come on.
Well, I'm saying, like, it doesn't set that up well.
Yeah.
It's confusing who knows about it and who doesn't.
What if it was like the whole, not to like bring unfriended dark web into the conversation, but what if you did something where it was like only people
on the black market.
It sounds really cheesy when you say that out loud, but it could be like creepy. There's creepy elements to Unfriended the Dark Web, like, and I think that would have almost brought in kind of a creepy layer to the movie.
Again, the movie's
so different.
Again, at the same time, the movie's not trying to be that deep and serious. So
Yeah.
it contradicts itself.
But it's like it's kind of trying, and that's why I'm frustrated that it didn't like go for it.
Yeah.
So it's like, just the balance and like figuring out what you want to do and trying not to think too much at the same time, because it's like, do you delve into 3 different ideas but only like surface level quality, or do you do one and go really deep with it?
I would rather go one and go really deep with it.
Again, I think it made a little bit of a mistake not trying to just like make it perfectly. I think they were worried that like Daniel Radcliffe with guns and him struggling the whole movie wasn't enough, so they had to fill.
But that's like why you wanted to watch the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
But honestly, I wanted to see more of that.
Yeah,
I feel like I didn't get
same.
enough.
But
of
they
that.
gotta make it for the mainstream audience, where all they want is action and like.
I don't know if this is for a mainstream audiences necessarily.
I know.
Well, kind of action. In a way, what you mean, kind of.
Right.
Like you said, you like the stuff of him opening the doorknobs, and
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
There's a scene. I don't want to keep spoiling stuff, but there was a scene where he had to like jump out of his window and he fell down his like metal staircase.
Yeah.
And I was like, where is this? Like, this is like pain. Like the movie, I wanted the movie to be more painful. And
When the
more
movie starts that stuff, then you start getting into it.
hard hitting and stuff.
And
Yeah.
like the scene where like he's like the guy, the homeless guy, and he's asking him to like dress him basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And he's like, "What do you want me to wipe your ass?" Actually, that would be very helpful. Like that shit's hilarious.
Yeah, I love that.
And
That guy
watching
was
him,
hilarious.
watching him you just want to watch him try to open the door, try to drive a car, try to pee.
And I think another issue we're having here is because we're talking about balancing too much and not focusing on certain things enough.
Right.
And I think one thing that added to that is the side plot with his ex-girlfriend, which I don't want to like go into too much.
That was very cliche.
Well, cliche, whatever, but I don't think that the movie needed that.
No,
Absolutely.
It's
I
another
agree.
thing, like you said,
Right.
like it should have just been Daniel Radcliffe,
and it was
Samara
set
Weaving.
up.
That would have been way
Yeah.
better.
It was set up. I can't really like dance around it. It was set up pretty bad because I was confused throughout the whole movie. It's the way they set up his ex-girlfriend's character in the very beginning is so rushed.
Yeah.
Her scene, it's like they meet for the first time. At least, again, either I wasn't paying attention or the movie was just that bad at setting it up, where it's like he meets this girl by
It
accident.
shut. Oh, sorry. I thought the camera shut off. It scared
No.
me. My bad.
He meets this girl by like on the internet,
Stupid.
and like they go on like one date, and then the entire rest of the movie, it's like they've been dating for 3 years. Like they act like they know each other really well. He's got his inhaler in his car. It's like, but if that was the case, then they set that up
I think you
horribly.
might be confused about that.
Okay.
I think that was a dream sequence.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. The
'Cause that
beginning
scene-
was a dream sequence.
Where the first time we see the girlfriend, he's dreaming about going to meet her.
Yep.
And
But there's
your eye twitched.
I'm just what? Well, there's a scene in it, but right before where they set up that like
She calls him, or he calls her, and then the next scene he lays down, and all of a sudden they're at the park.
And then he wakes up.
I mean,
and
you're
then-
right. I remember that.
Yeah.
But I'm still more confused.
And then the park scene ends with him waking up on the same couch he was before that scene. So I'm almost positive
Yeah, I
that
thought
it
it
was a
was a
dream
dream.
sequence. Like he was dreaming that she would take him back.
Yeah.
Because they were already broken up at that
I didn't
point.
think it was set
Okay.
up. I think her character was
You're
set
not
up.
wrong. I feel the same
Yeah.
way. But
Yeah.
I
as long as
thought
we get
her
it right.
character was set up pretty poorly. I personally don't think the relationship was set up that poorly.
I thought the actress was actually one of the better parts of the movie. I thought she was funny. I thought she had good delivery.
I really like Samara Weaving. She was like my favorite part.
I mean, yeah, I do too, but I'm just
Yeah.
trying to like give all the actors and actresses credit at the same
They
time.
all suck.
Okay. But like again, it's the whole thing where it's like it's almost trying to balance. You didn't need that necessarily. But finally, like when the movie, like towards the beginning of the second act, when it starts
Yeah.
getting its footing a little bit, you start to get more and more into it, and when it just focuses on Daniel Radcliffe running away from Samara Weaving, thank you, and she's just like coming at him and trying to like blow him up the whole time, and he's just trying to like. That's when the movie gets the most entertaining, and it's simple as hell and it's dumb as hell, but like.
Yeah.
You get into it, and it's weird because like once that starts, the editing seems to get better.
I agree.
The special effects
Everything
seem to
does.
get
It's
better.
almost like they're more confident in what they're in the movie by that point too.
Right.
I feel like they're trying to overcompensate in the beginning. Like, oh, we're not sure how I feel about this. Let's like cut
Right.
really fast and like make it all like.
Well, and that was really
wee.
frustrating because we were saying the movie's beautiful. It looks so good, and the editing kind of compromises those shots.
Right,
yeah.
Because you're like, okay, we cut.
Right.
And great shot. Oh, okay, we're cutting again. All these different angles that are unnecessary instead of
Yeah.
just holding on these beautiful neon
Yeah.
shots. that
It's
just-
it's very like Evil Dead inspired. The cinematography,
Yep.
the Dutch angles, the
Yep.
spinning. Sometimes it got a little too ridiculous, but like again, throughout the movie, it gets more focused. It gets more controlled. It's like they reshot the beginning of the movie
Yeah, it's like
and rushed it together.
The second half of the movie objectively is more action packed and more energetic.
Wait.
So maybe they went back and wanted to match that energy in the first half where there isn't much action
Right.
by making it like editing
Exactly,
crazy.
exactly.
Wait, hear me out. What if?
Sorry.
What if they did it on purpose? So like, it showed gradually more control, like of his character throughout the movie.
Yes.
So the editing was just sporadic and out of control, but it gradually got better to be like, look, Daniel Radcliffe is getting more control.
Yeah.
Control.
But yeah, I really like the cinematography.
Let's make out.
I really like the cinematography. It looked great.
yeah.
It looked better than I was expecting it to.
And I love shit like that. I love like just like
I love that shit, man.
yeah, I love that shit, man.
I think Daniel Radcliffe was good, even though he was extremely underutilized. I thought Samara Weaving was fantastic, and I think
Absolutely.
they actually kind of let her do her thing.
They
and-
started having like
Suck
really good chemistry.
my-
They actually like they started to have really good
They
chemistry
did.
towards the end of the movie.
I wanted more of it.
I did
you know?
too.
Yeah, I know it's frustrating because
And
they're
the-
really good together.
I feel like there's not as much Daniel Radcliffe, weirdly enough, as you probably would expect.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but like the move with where she ended up, I would have preferred definitely something different.
yeah.
I mean, I think we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit too much because I still want to talk about like.
What were you thinking?
I
Go
don't
ahead.
know.
Should we just go into spoilers because we've been talking about this for a while?
I just wanted to, before we get into spoilers.
I feel like we're kind of working our way through the movie.
yeah, I'm trying
I
to
like it,
like
though.
yeah.
Okay.
I think once the movie decides to just be like, just goes, fuck it, let's just be a simple, who gives a shit, ridiculous like action movie, that's when it starts to like grab you the most.
Yeah, and you do start understanding what the movie's trying to do more.
Right.
Even though it is getting better, it's like The Visit, where like at a certain point you're like, okay, I kind of get why you're doing it this way.
Right.
I get the humor you're portraying. Oh, okay, this joke makes sense. Now this character isn't weird. It's like it's, and I don't think. Again, I think a lot of it just comes down to the editing, because again, like the first 20 minutes just feel like a totally different movie.
I think the movie's just not very good at setting its stage, but once it just like starts doing what it's prioritizing in the first place, then it's like, okay, it's like it actually started to like win us all over towards the end. I know it sounds like we've been shitting on this movie for like 50
I
minutes.
feel like we've been really respectable. I mean, yeah, that's what I wanted to go more into positives though, because I actually think we enjoyed this more than we didn't mostly.
Yeah,
I agree.
and we were all kind of like, is it weird that we like this? And we were all kind of on the same page. Like, I was like,
I thought you guys were gonna hate me. I was like, all right,
Well, you said at first you were like, okay, I'm kind of liking this, and then like 20 minutes later you were like, okay, I'm sorry, Gage, this is fun, and then because I was being silent, I was just like, oh no, I'm kind of enjoying myself now too.
Yeah.
You know, it was like a slow.
because I thought once we get to the second act, it was just going to be over before I know it. But I actually spent a lot more on like the action and the character dynamics between Daniel Radcliffe and person I can't remember the name for the
Samara
life of
Weaving.
me. It sucks that I can't remember her name because I think we all agree we want to see her in more stuff.
Yeah.
oh, she's gonna be in Bill and Ted 3, and I'm very excited for that.
She's the girl in Ready or Not. If you don't know,
And she owns that movie.
Fantastic.
she's great. She's fantastic.
She's the best part of
she
Ready
owns
or
it
Not.
on Blu-ray or like 4K or like.
I mean, I think she's the best part of not only Ready or Not, but this movie as well. Her performance, and I really want to see Mayhem.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have heard of that one. The guy
I have heard of it.
Yeah, the guy from The Walking Dead's in that one too.
Yeah.
That's directed by Joe Lynch, who is
No
on
idea.
Letterboxd.
Okay.
I follow him. He's the you've probably seen him. He's got like a white background and he's got like blood on his face in his picture.
I don't
Okay,
know.
I don't know because he's kind of a popular on Letterboxd. But yeah, he did Mayhem, and I really want to watch it because she's in that too. And off topic, sorry. But yeah,
That's okay. I really want to see Bill and Ted
Yeah.
3. I think she's probably gonna steal the show in that one too, even though it has Keanu Reeves.
She should be in more movies because she's
I really like the name Samara. I'm gonna name my daughter that.
I do.
a very underrated actress.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm trying so hard to just like stay on the track, and it just like
Micah's just like, we're not cutting once, and he's just like really trying to get us to like crack.
I feel like every you just
Your boogie already ruined it, brother.
stop talking about my booger. Anyway, that's Akimbo we liked.
Yeah.
Even though we didn't think we were going to. Booger.
So what are any
Okay,
other
continue.
things that you guys enjoyed?
I mean, obviously, I think it goes without saying. I think Daniel Radcliffe is like pretty damn good in this movie.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
though there wasn't enough of him, I think there should have been more, especially in the beginning.
I really appreciate the sense of humor. Just I don't know. It was probably one of my favorites.
There were
some good-
I like the
some
way
good
it looks.
parts.
Definitely.
There's some jokes that like really like surprises, especially
know.
towards the end. I feel like the writing gets better.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It get objectively from every aspect. It
yeah.
gets better throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And which is weird because it starts out it's such a like we were contemplating turning it off. That's how like much we were like, oh god, this
Yeah.
seems like
Get past the first 20 minutes, and then
It
then
starts
you'll be
winning
fine.
you over.
It
yeah,
does.
like once the inciting incident happens, you start to slowly get into it. Just give it a chance. Don't take it so seriously.
Yeah. Because the reviews have been pretty bad for this movie, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I think that it's
Slightly better.
slightly better. I think it's a, like you kind of said when we were watching it.
Right.
It went from a D to a B.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big like journey in terms of
Right.
like how much we were enjoying ourselves. But I mean, you know, not to undermine the movie either.
Right.
Like a B isn't a bad score, but you know, it's a pretty good.
It's a
movie.
pretty big gradual jump for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. It's a pretty good movie, and I think I hope more people give it a shot.
Yeah.
It's definitely not perfect, but it's like it's pretty harmless.
If you want just like a no nonsense, balls to the wall, just turn your brain off, like stupid action movie, where Daniel Radcliffe tries to pee and has a very fake prosthetic penis.
You can't say the movie isn't trying to do stuff.
Yeah.
Because it tries too much. I think
liked
is the
what
problem.
you said that Samara Weaving could play Harley Quinn because like it's kind of that like same vibe.
It was just giving me Suicide Squad vibes.
If you didn't like Suicide Squad and you'd like kind of a
Not gonna lie,
similar-ish chance,
it's kind of like a low budget, like less clunky Suicide Squad.
So if you want to give
with,
that a shot, if you didn't
you
like
know,
that,
with no superheroes, obviously, it's like Nerve meets Suicide Squad meets Hardcore Henry meets fucking. It's just like a lot of different things. It's trying to be a lot of different things. You can tell that the director was inspired by so many different things at once, and there's definitely a more contained, better version of the movie. But for what it is, I was pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd actually be okay with seeing a sequel. I'm not gonna lie.
I would too.
Me too.
The way they set it up at the end was pretty great.
Yeah, I agree. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about spoilers now? I mean, I don't think there's a ton to be honest.
Honestly,
I think we covered it.
We should just move
Go
on.
on to
I feel
Hardcore
like
Henry.
All right.
Like, how does it? I mean, I know. Would it be like high in your ranking for this year, even though it's not like a?
Let's see. For
2020
me,
movie?
it would go.
Like, what did you rate it on Letterboxd first off?
I gave it 3 stars out of 5 stars, so that's not bad at all.
Most things you rate are like 3 out of.
Yeah, so generally for me, 3 and up. 3 is like good. 3, that's where like good. Everything below, I'm just like,
I don't
meh.
rate movies, but if I would, I'd probably give it like a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, it'd probably go like The Way Back, Onward. It might be like 3rd or 4th, maybe.
Wow. So it'd be high up there.
It's like a B to B minus in my book.
Me too.
Yeah. I'd say more. Yeah.
If you don't have anything going on, you just want to watch just a dumb movie that just you'll be entertained by, give it a rent. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. It really has its moments.
Yeah,
you know?
if you can really just stick it out with the movie and like get past some of the beginning, and just
It kind of reminds me of a newer Kevin Smith movie a little bit because it's trying so many things and some of them are really good. I mean, not like not maybe like the newer Kevin Smith movies, but like some of the.
Well, we felt like it really finds its footing, like especially towards.
I made my determination and be 4th. The Way Back, Onward, The Hunt, and then Guns Akimbo. If it were on my.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, the high moments are really high, and then there's just like some lower moments that kind of take away from it. But by the end, the high moments take the cake.
Yeah, I agree.
I think is like
When it decides what it wants to do.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
cool. It's kind of interesting. Though. I feel like we all felt pretty.
Oh yeah.
similar.
Also, does anybody know what Guns Akimbo means?
Well, akimbo means 2 guns. Like
Okay.
it's like a. I'm sad. The sad thing is I learned that from Call of Duty. So.
Oh.
Okay.
Now we can talk about Card Whore Henry.
Hardcore Henry.
Hard.
Yeah. So we were
Hardcore
originally
Henry.
gonna watch Project Power, the Netflix movie.
Should've.
And then we watched Guns Akimbo, and I feel like during the entirety of watching it, I was like, oh man, I'm getting Hardcore Henry vibes. And you've been wanting to watch Hardcore Henry for a while.
Which
so.
I feel bad because I was like falling asleep through it.
But, okay, anyway.
Not because the movie sucked. I was
Yeah.
just like tired.
Yeah.
Okay, to be fair, I didn't actually like drift off once. I
Yeah.
was just constantly like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's alright. I mean, it sucks that, you didn't like it very much, and, I mean, your experience was okay,
yeah.
But, I mean, like, I thought it was pretty similar, to Guns Akimbo, and I thought it would be kind of like a good companion piece, and, like, talking about both of them. I personally like Hardcore Henry more. I believe both of you said that you liked Guns Akimbo more.
Yeah.
But we're not like comparing them.
No.
It's not going to be like a versus thing. We're
Right.
just kind of wanted to talk about something fairly similar, and it does do some of the kind of the same things. It's interesting, and I've always liked Hardcore Henry. If you don't know what Hardcore Henry is, it's like the shtick is like it's a POV shot on a GoPro.
First person.
First person.
The whole movie's like a first person video game, basically.
It's a Russian movie, but it's like mostly English. It's by a Russian director, I don't really know how to like describe the plot without just like giving it away. The whole thing, it's just an action movie, first person,
I mean, I saw the movie. I could barely describe the plot.
about a guy
It's crazy.
who is basically some dude is trying to create like an army of like genetically engineered people who are like half human, half robot or something.
And he's Tommy Wiseau as a Jedi.
Yeah, and then the main guy Henry, or from his perspective, is one of those soldiers who goes rogue at the beginning. It's basically the best way I can describe it.
The opening titles are pretty damn cool.
Yeah,
I gotta say.
I've always loved the opening. I don't know. It's another movie that's not perfect. It has its really high moments. It has its moments that are like, okay, I could have done without that, but
Yeah.
for me, mostly 70-30, it works really well. And
I believe, wasn't it a Kickstarter movie? Like it was funded on Kickstarter?
Maybe, yeah, because remember they had that short film.
Indiegogo, sorry.
Indiegogo.
The first ever action POV feature film.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look up what the budget was.
It definitely has that, like...
Oh, wow. So they raised $254,000. So this was pretty low budget.
Yeah.
For
how it looked, I mean, shit.
For that budget, it was pretty impressive. Some of the
Yeah.
stunts were like, oh my god, how did that
I mean, we
person
watched the
not die?
movie. There was only one shot where we were like,
It was more the CGI, though. But it wasn't the
Yeah.
actual practical stunts that they were doing.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Stunt-wise, it's pretty fucking amazing.
Right, and
all
it
the
was
way
shot on a GoPro, right? Did we say that already?
Pretty sure it was, yeah. Maybe you can confirm that, but I think I'm
I'm almost
imagining so.
positive it was.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to,
Yeah.
it's very reminiscent. It reminds me a lot of I don't know, those or mid 2000 days when like Black Ops 2 was really popular, and it just like both of these movies are very Call of Duty movies, I don't know, to me, and this one just it's that perspective, and it's just to me it's an adrenaline rush. It's a total blast.
Yeah.
It's nonstop. I think it's paced super well for what it is, because like you said, it's like it's all through his perspective. You can't do a lot of cutting. You can't really get away with that. So the fact that it was paced as well as it was,
Right.
it's pretty impressive,
Yeah.
with that kind of camera setup.
I really like the Russian sense of humor. That was
Yes,
really funny.
it's very the Russian sense of humor is probably my favorite part of the movie. It's just like these little lines and goofiness that's just that you don't see anywhere else.
Like about the guy's jacket? He's like, that has
That
got.
has got to be the gayest jacket I've ever seen.
Hey man, where'd you get your jacket?
Followed
then-
by just flamethrower.
Yeah. And my favorite fucking line, just what does he say? You're half machine, half pussy, and then he just jumps. I love that shit. I don't know. Very Russian. I dig it. Makes me want to watch like more Russian movies.
You can definitely tell Russia is less concerned with like being more sensitive. Although this movie came out in like what?
2015.
2015. Okay, so it's not that old.
But yeah,
like,
I mean, you're not wrong. It's
Yeah.
definitely not politically correct, and I love it.
I don't think Russians care about being politically correct.
Probably.
well, I mean, Russians probably have a little bit more to worry about than like,
yeah.
Then PC
pronouns
culture.
and like
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of in the other direction over there, I think, so I don't know. Well, I don't know what the hell. Russia's weird.
Definitely.
I mean, if you're from Russia, I still love you, though.
Yeah.
you're probably cooler than us.
Yeah, if you're from Russia and happen to be watching this, comment what Russia's like right now.
I can't confirm that we have fans from Russia. I do know we have somebody from Japan who watches us.
That's cool.
apparently.
Hey, shout out to our watcher from Japan. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
How do you know that?
If you look at the
they at least
demographic.
listen to our podcast.
That's super cool.
How do you know that, though? How do you listen? How do you know that? they
There's
listen?
on the Anchor. There's you can
Wow.
look at analytics.
That's cool.
Yeah.
dig
Most
that.
of our audience is male, except for
Yeah.
like a 30%.
Okay.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard because I feel like I definitely like it way more than you guys, so I know like you guys don't have a lot
Right.
to say.
Although it's not fair because again, I was not. I was like
Yeah.
so tired.
I
I don't
just-
know what happened.
If I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to
it-
talk about what you didn't like, feel free.
No, if I'm being completely honest, I personally don't see the comparisons to Guns Akimbo other than the fact that he has two guns.
Well, I thought we weren't going to talk about the comparisons. I thought we were just.
I thought. I mean, I wasn't like trying to compare them,
Okay.
but like the reason why we watched Hardcore Henry is because we thought it was like similar to Guns Akimbo, and we could potentially do that in the future also, where we watch a recent 2020 movie and perhaps a movie that is similar to it.
I mean,
so.
I do think they're similar. Yeah, you have the guns, but it's like I think tonally and just like pace and the action style kind of the action style, like the very modern action style that it has. I think that's what I was kind of talking
yeah,
about.
I mean, I think both movies have been compared to like Crank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that really no holds barred. type.
Out of everything, I see Nerve the most, I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
I wish I could compare it to Nerve, but
You never seen it?
I've never seen Nerve.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, it's definitely got that too. I mean, I don't know. I just kind of felt like watching Guns Akimbo that it was kind of. I was like, oh, that's cool, but
Just
like
high energy.
Hardcore Henry did it better. So that's why like
Right.
just the action, the spectacle of it, the high energy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because like when I think of Hardcore Henry, the first word that pops in my mind is adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such an adrenaline rush, and nobody. I feel like not a lot of people have seen it. Like it's super. I think it's really underrated, or I mean, maybe not underrated in your case, but you can definitely say like, yeah, it's not very popular. Not a lot of people are watching it. I mean, I think the people who do watch it mostly like it. It's like kind of mixed though.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people saying it sucks, and a lot of I see people talking about like the. I don't know. You guys might think this, and I won't judge you if you do. But I see people talk about how like the first review for Hardcore Henry on Letterboxd is headache-inducing Henry because of like the camera work.
Oh, I didn't think so.
Are we like? Did it like bother you at all?
No, again,
Okay.
we made an argument that it was kind of like hypnotic for me
Yeah.
and that it put me to sleep.
It's so interesting. But my point being is, it bothers me because I feel like.
Going into that movie, you should be aware, like, if that's something that bothers you.
But at the time Hardcore Henry came out, it wasn't very long ago, but I remember
Right.
people going, oh, I don't know if I can do that. I mean, it's amazing how far we've come in 5 years. I feel like, I mean, it's really not that, it doesn't, I mean, I guess if you have, like, issues
Right.
with, like, getting nauseous and stuff, but
But it's like you wouldn't
it's not
you
that
wouldn't
bad.
play a first person video game and then leave a review that like I got motion sickness 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's like it is what it is.
Again, it kind of just reminds me of like a grandpa talking about it just
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it
you
was-
should know if it's for you going in
Yeah.
or not. But again, I think it's one of those things.
And to be
where-
fair,
What did you expect?
To be
right,
fair,
kinda.
I don't think it, like, going into it, I didn't have, like, a super big interest, so, like, I don't know, I probably had a biased viewpoint.
Oh.
but like, yeah, like I was saying, like, you should, like I said, you should know what you're getting into.
It's very.
But
camera
I'm
all
sure
over
when
the
it
place.
came out, like, people were just like, oh, what's this movie? There's nothing to watch. Oh, okay, let's watch Hardcore Henry.
There's sensory overload.
Yeah.
They're just seizing, like,
Yeah, it's just like.
I mean, granted, if this movie makes you sick or whatever,
I'm not saying you're a pussy if it does, but to use that as like saying the movie sucks is what
right.
bothers me.
It's like you're either on board or you're not.
The movie's fucking stupid because it made me dizzy. Like, come
Yeah.
on, get out of here. You know, it's like, I mean, you could say that about any found footage movie ever.
Right.
It's a style. If it's not for you, it's okay, but it doesn't mean the movie itself sucks.
Yeah.
It's just like, you just can't handle movies like that, you know? I don't
Yeah.
know what to tell you. So, I don't know. I was just curious because I didn't, like...
No,
you
I
guys
didn't feel
say
that-
anything
I didn't feel that way at all.
Like you said, I have the exact opposite effect,
Yeah.
too, where it kind
Where
of, like...
it calms you
calms
down.
me down in some
Yeah.
weird, strange way.
Yeah.
While also, like, giving me adrenaline like crazy, but, like, I'm just kind of like...
I don't know if it was late at night, but, like...
It's like Micah when he
It was
looks
only
at
like
a,
10:30 when we watched it, wasn't
when
it?
Micah looks at a Cards Against Humanity card. That's how I was when I was watching Hardcore Henry. This is the face he was just like, just like,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but for some reason, the longer that movie went on, like, the more, like, tired I became. But it's not like I was falling asleep. It was just like...
I mean, I liked the movie too, and I was tired last night. So like, I don't know. Maybe we were just too tired. I don't. It's.
Maybe, but I definitely think there is something weirdly hypnotic about it.
I think so
I agree.
too.
like the style of lens, how it warps the world.
Yes.
It like forces you to like reorient yourself, and then
Yeah.
through that you just get
Like we were saying,
it's like a feedback loop.
the movie is very emotionally demanding in a sense that it just demands your attention because there's so much happening and you really have to like fucking zero in.
Yeah.
You can't just kind of like half watch it. You have to just be into it. And
Right.
because of that, I think it's just like sucks the life out of you kind of in like a good way. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm
Right.
like talking negatively about it, but I don't know. It's
But
just
al-
interesting.
I think also just like on another thing, both of these movies, Guns Akimbo and Hardcore Henry, not to compare them,
it's
but
okay. It's okay.
both the movies are obviously they're not made for you
Yeah.
to like get something deep and
It's not an Oscar
Yeah.
contender. That's not what they're going
no,
for.
none of these are Citizen Kane. We could talk endlessly about like this acting or
All right, Rocky.
whatever. Adrian, I really like Guns Akimbo.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I mean they're both made to just be like turn your brain off, like just
Fun.
have a good
Yeah.
time. crack a beer open with the boys and
Yeah.
watch Daniel Radcliffe shoot people and
Don't tease
I
me,
would
Kyle.
say Guns Akimbo is like easier to watch and consume, but like Hardcore Henry is
it's more unconventional for sure.
unconventional. Yeah, I
It's
don't know.
doing something new, and I can respect
I think
that.
the biggest part about it's basically the whole movie's made to be like, hey, look, we can make a movie that's first person.
Yeah,
It's kind of like a proof of
yeah,
concept a little bit.
yeah. And I mean, also you have on top of that concept, you have like amazing performances by Charlton Copley. At least I thought we didn't really talk about that. I thought he was amazing.
He's I guess he's the best part of the movie. I guess I could say that confidently. Like
I could even say that too. And the fucking movie is like an action packed.
But I mean, obviously, he has so many chances to shine because
Yeah.
he's playing like a different character
he's
every
so
2
good.
seconds.
I guess that's kind of a spoiler, but we won't go into that anymore.
All right.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, he's amazing. Honestly, like he's the thing I think of first when I think of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool that they have that added layer. It's not just
Right.
oh shooty shoot, you know.
But like
Shooty shoot.
the stunts that they do are impressive. Like
I
they're
agree,
really
yeah.
Because like, I mean, like that whole part where like it's in the trailer, but I still think it's cool when I think he's on top of like the car or something, and he like blows it up, and then it launches him through the air, and he lands on the motorcycle. Like that shit's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's like Tom Cruise
Yeah.
almost level.
There are also some video game elements that are super subtle. I don't know if
Right.
you guys picked up on, which is kind of another comparison to Guns Akimbo. They're trying to do video game, but it's super subtle.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to do that because of the first person, and you know that from video games. There was like a couple parts, but the funniest part for me is like when he first meets Charlton Copley and they're in the car and they're driving, and he's just like, open that contraption over there, and he opens he's just getting these small little orders to do like you do in a video game.
Yeah.
Opens the drawer, takes out the contraption, untangle the wires, and then it cuts, and he's just like trying to untangle them.
Press square to
yeah,
pick up.
Yeah.
right. It just reminds me of that. I thought that was really subtle and funny.
But yeah, this movie, like, I feel like it's hard to spoil this movie because, again, I saw it and I couldn't explain. There's robots, there's clones, there's
Yeah.
people fighting, there's albino Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah,
There's so
Kurt
much.
Cobain, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
you
There's
know.
a Jedi.
The villain in this movie is definitely, like, made you laugh a couple times.
The funniest part of the movie, without spoiling things, is just like that scene where they're testing out the fucking clones or whatever, and Charlton Copley's in there, and then they just start attacking him, and then the villain is just getting like so annoyed, and then he just starts using the force or whatever, and we can just hear him screaming in the background. I don't know why,
Yeah.
that just fucking cracks me up. It's strange. I have a weird sense of humor.
Yeah, you will not see Tommy Wiseau in that villain.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's Russian though. I looked it up, so I don't know. Is Tommy Wiseau Russian?
Who knows
What
where Tommy
the
Wiseau's
hell?
from, but he has the exact same accent.
Like to a T.
Yeah,
To a T.
it's crazy.
Another thing that we said that we liked about the movie,
Uh-huh.
which I kind of agree with you, is the choice of music.
Yeah.
Other than the obvious, like, that it's used in the trailer, like, don't stop me now. Like, there's a lot of songs that are, like ironically, like, mellow.
Yeah.
That you don't expect for a movie like this. And it
Like a juxtaposition.
Yeah, it weirdly fits, though.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm definitely going to, like, look up the music after
The
this
opening
podcast.
song I love so much. I've listened to that like outside of the movie a lot.
Yeah.
And I really like the Queen song at the end, even though like Queen's really overused. I think it fits the movie. And honestly,
Right.
when I think of that song, I think of Hardcore Henry first. It's kind of crazy. I think it uses it really well.
I mean, it's hard for me not to think of Shaun of the Dead when I think of the song.
Right, I get you.
But-
It's kind of like whatever movie you discover it first.
Just
Right.
like Queen.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a Queen song.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of other songs that are more obscure and, like...
Yeah, maybe Russian too. I think there's some Russian
Maybe.
music as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
Um,
another video game thing that always cracked me up was when when they're in like the big concrete set or whatever that's
Right.
like in that short film that they did,
yeah.
and he's playing like the military version of him, and he's just like, you can't see them, or no, you can hear them, but you can't see them. Drop an egg down there, laddie. It's just like
And
it
it's
just
a great
reminds
egg.
me of like Call of Duty. Just
Yeah.
like,
All right, Roach.
yeah, it's just hilarious. I don't know why.
It's gonna be a tough shot.
Yeah,
His dick looks to be the size of a small pepper. I had to say
we're gonna
it.
talk about those soon.
Yeah, that's the Dirties.
Yeah.
Tales from the Dirty.
Coming soon
Coming
to the
soon.
Diaphragm
To
podcast.
the diet. Whoop.
The
Huh?
diet poop.
Did you find out what a diaphragm is?
The Diet Dick podcast.
Since the last time we.
We could do it right now on live.
I mean, I know what it
On
is, but
live
I just want
television.
want you to know what it is.
I have to diaphragm.
We called the episode the diaphragm in a couple podcasts ago.
Oh.
Yeah. There you go, buddy.
I was thinking of a diagram.
Diagram podcast.
You're learning so much today.
I don't ever want to use that.
Who feels like a big boy?
Pussies are gross.
Okay. Is there anything else we have to say about Hardcore Henry?
I love Hardcore Henry. It's far from perfect, but
Both movies are far from
yeah,
perfect.
But I enjoy it a lot. I highly recommend it if you don't suffer from motion sickness, and if you just feel like having an adrenaline rush.
And
if you
I-
want to like see what it's like to be on a roller coaster for an hour and 20 minutes, then watch Hardcore Henry basically.
And I also recommend Guns Akimbo
Yeah.
if you just want to watch Daniel Radcliffe.
God.
Daniel Radcliffe fart?
Felt like the door opened. But
No, it didn't.
No, it
it was just a bang.
Okay. There's a lot of people banging up there.
Yeah.
Use a diaphragm.
Just watch the trailer for Guns Akimbo and the Hardcore Henry and just be like, oh, does that for me or not? Because I feel like the trailers are very,
Yeah.
yeah. You just go do whatever, you know?
Just do it.
Watch Guns Akimbo.
I think it's a fun action, like,
Not Hardcore Henry.
it's a fun
Yes,
two action
Henry.
movies that are really fun and really like paced super fast and I feel like they complement each other in a lot of ways. So I would say it's a good double feature if you feel like it. Support some smaller movies. I think Guns Akimbo is on Prime and Hardcore Henry is on Netflix. So so yeah.
Are they both free?
Yeah.
They're both free.
Let's
So
try
only
them.
watch Guns Akimbo.
I mean if you have Netflix or Prime, so
Right.
All
Should
right.
we wrap this up?
Goodbye.
Do you have anything to say? To do?
no, just recommend both movies and
Comment and down below if you have anything to say about these movies, any opinions you'd like to share. We'll definitely read them.
ask questions
Ask
for the next
loads
podcast.
of questions.
We don't have any questions this week.
Oh,
but
we don't.
Podcast is on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts. You can also watch the video version on YouTube if
Follow
you're not
us
already.
on Letterboxd.
Follow it all on Letterboxd. Watch our YouTube stuff. You can follow us on Instagram. You can have my social security number. Here it is: 378-422. I'm lying. Goodbye.
fuck you.
I live at 123 Heckerville.
My
We'll be right back on the dialogue next week on the Ellen DeGeneres show.
My eggs-
I'm so sad I know what a diaphragm is now.
I have to pee really bad.
My legs hurt.